Hello. First impressions. What do I think of Bahrain? It's not the first time that I am in Bahrain. I used to come here quite a bit when we lived in Saudi Arabia. I haven't been here in the last 6, 7 years. And it was also my first time flying into Bahrain. We usually drive back in the day, and Bahrain is super clean. Like I said before, it gives very similar vibes to Dubai and Qatar, except there's just not as many people. So I kind of enjoy that. It's very calm and peaceful and a lot more quieter. So there is not that overstimulation of just hundreds of people walking through a mall. It's quite pleasant. I don't know if you can see maybe around here. I'm at the mall in the middle of the day and it's almost empty. And I quite enjoy that actually. I enjoy the fact that it's just not as crowded. I had an experience when I arrived yesterday morning. I got here around 7:30 in the morning, and my luggage was left behind. I think it was. I'm assuming that it was left behind in Addis because the layover there was so short. I literally, by the time that we landed, our connecting flights to Dubai was already boarding. So my guess is that there just wasn't enough time to get the bag. So by the time I got here, my bag was still in Dubai, and I had to wait the whole bag. But I just, in terms of first impressions, just want to talk about the efficiency of service. I found that so easy. Like I went to, there's a counter at baggage reclaim, and I told the person working at the counter that I'm missing a bag, and it literally took them 1 minute to find my bag. They told me that it was going to get on a 3 o'clock flight, and then they would email me when it gets here to come and collect it. And it was just, they gave me a little slip to take with, and within 5 minutes I was helped. I guess also it's a small airport in a sense that it's a small country, but the airport itself is huge, super clean. But very efficient service and not as busy. So there's no queues for anything really. I was the only person being served there. When I came back later on in the day, I think I was the second person in the queue, and I got my bag within say 5-10 minutes, and only because they made me wait so that we could go as a group to collect our bags. But it was just so easy. I find that everything is efficient. Going into a restaurant and waiting for food, it's quick. You don't wait a long time for service. I'm not sure if it's because of just the number of people that they serve, or if it's because the competition is so high, because also there's everything everywhere. There's so many makeup shops and this and that. Like there's just a lot of everything. So yeah, so I'm enjoying that. I'm enjoying the fact that I don't have to wait a lot to be serviced. Okay, so another question that I have been getting is, where the hell are you? Where is Bahrain? So Bahrain is a very, very small island that is situated off the coast of Saudi Arabia. It's about a 15 minutes drive from here, which is the capital city, Manama, to the border of Saudi Arabia. Also, another neighboring country to here is Qatar. So it is in the Gulf region, and yeah, it's an Arab state, very small country. And why here? Why here and not Dubai, for instance? It is very similar to Dubai, similar in how it looks and feels, and it's a lot calmer. So the streets aren't as busy. There isn't as much traffic as you would find in Dubai, and it's just a lot more peaceful. Cost-wise, I think it's more or less the same. So what I would spend here on a meal is more or less the same as what I would spend in Dubai for a meal. It's just a lot more peaceful. Yeah. Entertainment-wise, perhaps Dubai offers a bit more. But if you're looking for a shopping experience, it is the same huge malls that will give you similar brands, if not the same brands. Even when it comes to luxury shopping, for those people that enjoy luxury shopping, so your big expensive brands are available. So, do you need a visa as a South African to come to Bahrain? And the answer is yes. You apply online, and there's an application fee. It was 4 BD for the application fee, and it took about 3 days to get the visa. And once your visa is approved, then you get an email to say that your visa is approved, and for them to generate or send it to you, then you must pay the visa fee. And the visa fee was about 5 BD, so that would be 4 times 50 and then 5 times 50, and that's how much the total cost was for the visa. But it was it's probably the cheapest visa that I've ever had to apply for, and it was pretty easy to get. 3 days wasn't unreasonable to wait for the visa. And yeah, that's about all that you need to know about the visa. Nobody even asked for it when I traveled here from the first flight that I took. I think the only counter that asked for it, I connected in Dubai, so they did ask me for the visa there, but when I arrived, I think it's already on the system. But yeah, nobody asked me for it. But yeah, it was easy to get the visa. So I had, whilst we're on that note of similarities, it is August. It's supposed to be cooling down, but today is so hot. It's about 39 degrees, but it's also so humid. I had every intention of spending time outside, and I just can't. I can't even breathe outside. So yeah, the culture is generally very indoorsy. There's literally nobody walking on the streets. It's so hot. I had every intention of maybe going to the beach. I don't know, I don't know if I'll be able to go to the beach. I may be able to maybe go into a pool if it's indoors, but it is so hot. So maybe in terms of best time to travel, you might want to wait till November to come to this part of the world, because it's very hot at the moment. Peak summer is usually around May, June, July, but it's still very, very hot. I guess we all kind of experiencing extremes at this time of year, because back home is also super cold at the moment, and it's August. I mean, next week will be the first day of spring, but it's still full on winter. Currently sitting at a restaurant in Bahrain, and I want to talk all things money. So I just did a bit of shopping. I needed a few essentials from Sephora, and I want to show you how much I paid for 3 items. So let's see. Maybe let me unbox it. So I got a beauty blender at Sephora. Don't ask me why I bought a beauty blender here. I know that we have these at home. We have them at Clicks. We have them at different shops, but they're not the same. The ones back home just feel different. I don't know how to describe it, but if you've used one of these from Sephora, it's not the same. It feels different. I don't know, but it's not the same. Anyway, story for another day. Then I got me a highlighter, and there's just one here, one color, from Benefits. I haven't seen this at home. I didn't really care about the brand. I just needed one because I forgot mine at home. And then I got me a Fenty gloss. Also, I lost one at home and I wanted one, and I just didn't want to buy anyone for the sake of buying, so I bought one. So it's just 3 items that I got, and that came up to 42 BD, the total cost of these 3 items. So Bahrain is the second, or has the second strongest currency in the world. They come second to Kuwait, And so if you compare this to the rand, so at the moment, one Bahrain dinner, I'll call them BDs, it looks like this, and one of these is the same as 50 rands and I think 60 something cents, so we can round off to 50 rand. So one of these is just 50 rand, so then you can do the counting on your own to see how much 42 or 43 BD was in comparison to the rent, so what I paid. And I say that because a lot of the time people will ask, is it more expensive in a certain country versus South Africa? And I think outside of Africa and maybe Asia, everything to me is more expensive because the rand is so weak. But basically, yeah, so one of these will get is equal to 50 rands, let's say, and then if I have two of these, I've got 100 rands on me. And another thing that people keep asking, or that I've heard people ask, is the decimal. So a lot of the time you'll see, I'll show you a screenshot of me taking an Uber. I took an Uber here. I've been taking Ubers since yesterday, and it has 3 decimals, so it will be the number like 1 and then it will say 0.900 or 500, and we generally will have our cents side of the whatever screen will only have 2 decimals, and this here has 3. I don't know why, but it's a bit confusing because when you get the bill in a lot of places and you see 2,900, you would think that it's 2,900, but it's actually not. They just happen to use 3 decimals. So, is Bahrain English friendly? So it is an Arab state, and the primary language that the locals use is Arabic, but there is a huge international community, so especially the workforce. A lot of the people that work in the service industry are from Asia, so your Philippines and India and Bangladeshi, and generally everybody speaks English, so it's quite easy to get around in English. The signage is in both Arabic and English, from road signs to airport signs to even shops, because maybe I'll just show something here. It's written in both. You turn my camera around, it's written everywhere. It's written in both Arabic and English. Now where do I turn my camera? And internet services, everywhere where I go, habitually, the first thing that I do when I arrive is get a SIM card. It's usually easy to get a SIM card at the airport. It was easy here. I paid about 9.5 BD, almost 600 rand, so just over 500 rands, to get a SIM card with about 16 gigs. 16 gigs daytime and 16 gig or 10 gig internet or something like that, but the total was about 26 gig, and I don't have any issues with internet speed. I don't know if it's because I do have a SIM card. There is internet at the hotel, but for me, because I'm a parent and I want to be accessible to my kids throughout the day, I tend to just always buy a SIM card. It just makes it easier for me to manage my home life whilst traveling if I'm available whenever, especially also because of the time difference as well. It's not a lot, but still. I decided to do a bit of shopping. The heat is unbearable. Look at me. I've only been here a few minutes and I'm dying.